Hi guys, today I'm here with Superdrone. Hi guys, how are you?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, super.
Absolutely fine.
Good stuff. Yeah, so first of all, if you can just give us a little bit of a background to
You
Superdrone.
break it up. I was I was doing a Nirvana tribute band, so I was doing the Kurt Cobain thing, and I was on stage in that, and we were playing like the Bleach era Nirvana, um, mainly sort of like actually it was already '92 set we were playing, and smashed that up, got off stage, and someone came over to me with a beer and went, "This is from Tien Ren," and I was like, "Oh, is it? Okay, cool. Who's Tien Ren?" And this guy just pointed over to the bar and went, "He is Tien Ren." I was like, "Oh, all right, cool, fair enough." So I went over, and he's Tien Ren, that guy there. And yeah, basically, he was like, "I want to let's do a band, and I want it to be like shoegazy sort of psychedelic kind of sort of thing. Let's set a jam up because you're like wasting your time in like tribute bands and that." And I was like, "Well, I was kind of got my own sort of project." And I thought, let's, and we ended up writing songs.
Yeah,
It became
possibly.
the yeah, because you basically Tien had it on his he took his mobile phone with him, which was ancient. I mean, it was ancient at that point in time, like 4 years ago. What was it? It was like an iPhone 1 or something, wasn't it?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah,
Four.
and you
It was a four.
recorded iPhone 4. Yeah, yeah. I had this little bit of smoke coming out of it, and that it was like proper, like. But we what we did is we just wrote these songs, and it was just like really like a real easy sort of like flowing process of writing these songs. And as we were in the room, we could actually we when we went out for a break, we all agreed it was really weird because we could actually literally hear like orchestras and stuff happening while we were playing. It was like really spooky. It's some weird paranormal thing happening in there. And Tien had recorded all the songs on his phone. So he went back unbeknownst to me and put them into his computer. And then he sort of like started to play all the parts. So it was sort of leaving the sort of like re-recording the drums using MIDI, re-recording the guitars and stuff. So keeping the live essence of these tracks. And that essentially became Superdrone 1. So after the first initial jam, I think we had an album in about
Yeah.
6 weeks or something. And it was only 6 weeks because we were sodding about. That's because we work really fast. I mean, we could probably literally come up with like a decent cohesive sounding album in a couple of days, but it's just the whole kind of like, oh man, I've just finished my
Yeah.
day job and now I want to watch some Netflix kind of thing.
I think if we
That's
were
the
locked
big sort of
away, Ed,
killer
we'd
in it.
smash out an album easily. In
We should lock ourselves away probably. Charlie's got a studio in London, and I keep on saying to TM, we should just go up there for a weekend, and we just go in, we just lock the door, and we just come out with an album, and that's it. I think that would be wicked. I think we should definitely do that. So let's pencil it in for after lockdown.
Yeah, that would be really cool just to see what you come out with without that sort of outside influence and things like that. Be really cool.
Yeah, that'd be great. And to like, limit ourselves so we're not actually allowed to go on the internet and not allowed on our phones and just come up with something. I could
be
probably
good.
come up with 4 albums.
Be good to fun. Just play and jam, wouldn't it? We haven't done that for ages.
God, we haven't done that for ages. Wow. I haven't literally, we haven't been in the same room together playing music since that gig. Where was it? Bristol or Birmingham or
Birmingham
something?
with the
Birmingham
with the telescopes.
with the telescopes.
Our
That's right.
last
Yeah.
gig.
It's a shame. But we were sort of on a roll. We were about to put Solargaze out, and we were sort of thinking, well, we'll stick that out in the summer and we'll work on it now, kind of thing. And we had Solargaze all sorted, and then lockdown came along, and we were just like, oh, okay, well, we can't sort of get out and play live to sort of promote. Essentially, we decided we pretty much wrote that whole album again, didn't we? In about
Yeah.
a week. So TM was like, I don't like that, I don't like that, I don't like that. And I was like, all right then, I'll go and write another album then. So we had a bit of a Barney and ended up writing what is Solar Gaze now kind of thing, really.
And it got, I mean, one of the memories for me of us in this band is because it's all little stepping stones. And one of those great little stepping stones was getting in the top 25 release for Louder Than War. With that release, it's just like, wow, beating some of the people that you remember as kids. Like,
Like Neil Young.
Tim Burgess.
Yeah, Tim Burgess and Neil Young, wasn't it? That was funny. That was, yeah. It's like, yeah, this album's better than those. So, but we did work really hard on it, but I think still no one's really heard it, because it's like, unless you've got like thousands or hundreds of thousands of pounds, it's hard to get your music actually listened to. You know, you're just on Spotify, it's a decent record, and we're layering it. So what we're doing at the moment is we're just keeping on layering, you know, album after album. This is going to be our 5th album coming up soon. We've got an EP, and I just think it's going to be nice that at some point in the future, when people sort of like catch on to it, they'll be like, oh, let's check out Superdrone, and they'll be like, oh my god, they've got how many releases that we can get through. We've got like, what did we work out it was, Tien? It's going to be like 58 songs on Spotify after this new album goes out.
I did see a comment on Twitter or something, and some guy was saying, you know, when people find out about this band, they're just going to be like, oh my god, that song is a hit, and then it'll be the next one, that song's a hit, and again and again and again. Just like, no one knows us, no one's listened to us, because
basically it's a secret.
Yeah, with a secret.
I think certainly like rock music in general over the last few years, I think has been particularly hard, because I think playlists have focused on like dancey stuff like hip hop and rap and stuff like that. So like Spotify seems to be like a lot of their sort of non like personal curated playlists are related to that stuff rather than rock music, and it does make it hard. And yeah, you're right, there's like Found You Guys, and there's so many bands that I come across on Spotify and I'm like, oh, these are great, but they've got hardly any following. I think there is so much out there at the moment. And I guess I watched like an interview with somebody to do with music marketing. It was about 2 years old, but they said there was, I think it was either 4 or 6 million unlistened songs on Spotify, because there's just something like that.
It's mental.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering who doesn't go on and at some point and just go, I've just released a song, I'm going to give it one play. But yeah, it's mental.
What a waste of creativity.
Yeah.
You know, people sort of, that's one of the things I find as well, is we were sort of like, for the particular this album, the last one, you know, we put a lot past the album, a lot of emotionally almost into the album, and then you sort of like put it out to your friends on Facebook and that, and like just no one sort of like, you know, someone puts a cat video on and it gets like 61 likes, and then you're like, we spent the last 3 months making this album,
and he's frozen.
And then you go back to people. I've got really good friends that I speak to, and I'll like stick a track on because they'll come over. We had a time last year where a couple of people come over because you were allowed to have people over again, and they'd be like, "What's this music playing? This is really good." I'd be like, "Oh, it's the new Superdrone," or I'll be in the car or whatever with someone from work, and they're like, "This is great." It's like, well, I did tell you, but. And then you get that particular person sort of like advocating it for a little bit and going online and saying, oh, this is really cool. He picked it up and started listening to it, and he was just like, this is ridiculously good. So he was actually shouting about it on social media and that. But it's just hard unless you get someone like some massive name going, listen to this, then people are just going to carry on listening to what they're going to listen to. You know, people fall into sort of like two schools really. They either listen to what they've always listened to, or there's people those are people that tend to really love music, and the people that don't tend to love music just listen to whatever's on the radio, and then you've got to sort of like bridge that gap in between.
We're just trying to get in with as many cool bands as possible. That way we can hopefully get mixed up with their fans as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I think the bands we've all played with, I think with the exception of maybe two bands, we've made friends with them. Like,
yeah,
you know, they're not easy to get on with, have fun with, and party with and stuff. And yeah, we've made some great relationships playing with people out, because we do get out. We're not like one of these bands that only plays their hometown. We play all over the place. But yeah, it's just it just feels to me like it's just something that's going to be inevitable. You know, it's going to boot off at some point soon. But the lockdown's kind of put the brakes on that a bit.
And when we're looking for gigs and stuff, the main thing that sort of gets my attention and our interest is the band that we'll be playing with. You know, I mean, we've done stuff like New Candies and Rev in London with yourself, which was a great night. You know, all these bands, it's just something you want to go, you know, I've played with this band because they're great. it's my sort of thing, my sort of scene, my sort of music. You know, telescopes, you know, great, what a great night. And the fact that you can now say to people, we did a gig with the telescopes, is so cool for us.
Yeah, Detroit, we did a show with, up in Manchester. Who was it? Purple Heart Parade, and it was Is Bliss and us, and some guy on his keyboard opened the whole show up, and that was absolutely killer. That was, what was that called, Tien? There was something beginning with A, wasn't it?
That's the Atma.
That's what I remember.
I've been talking to the venue about us releasing the live recording
Yeah.
that we did up there, and any proceeds that we get from it help them as a venue out.
It's a great idea. Yeah, we definitely do that.
So
The trouble is, people that have seen it on YouTube will be like, hang on a second, the version you're putting out sounds way more technological than this, because it's in mono, because it's like a mobile phone recording. So I'm going to overlay the studio bits onto it as well, only for where we use backing tracks. With your events, do you often get people using backing tracks?
So I know that you guys have used them when I've done a gig, and apart from that, I don't think so. I've got
Really?
like a sort of something completely different, like a electronic duo penciled in for November, and I think they've got umpteen synths, and also I think they'll have quite a probably that sort of stuff. But yeah, most of the time I don't think there's been too much of a backing track, unless I know you guys had the one with from the singer from Brian Jonestown Massacre.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because the thing is, because we're we love sort of like making our music in the studio and putting different sounds and putting like synths and orchestral piece and samples, and we're friends with Miranda, who was in Brian Jonestown Massacre. Miranda Lee Rich is an amazing artist in her own right, and she sang a track for us. We thought, well, we're not going to get that on there, so we just have it on the track. So the harmonies as I'm singing, she's there as well, and we're going to develop that soon. So instead of it being mono, then it's going to be stereo, so you can have more of an immersive kind of sound. We just want it to be an experience, really. We've been through a situation where we're like, can we get by and can we actually play our songs on the stage? Well, we can definitely do that, and now we're taking it up to the next level. And what can we do now to have the people in the audience completely blown away by the sound that we're actually making? Not just delivering the song, but delivering an experience that will sort of like, the best thing for me is being on stage and looking out and just seeing people smiling and just being like, whoa, this is great, kind of thing. Because there's a lot to listen to when you listen to a Superdrone show.
Yeah, and there is that really cool video I think I saw on Facebook or YouTube where someone's filming, might have actually been the Rev gig, and it's almost like the stuff is moving, like sort of wavy, like in the video, I think.
Yeah, Richard Avenel, El Presidente, he recorded that. Was Richard, wasn't it, Tien?
Yeah, you'd wake up and the vibration from your bass when it kicks off at the beginning.
Was
It's
actually
just like, what is that?
Somehow bending the vision.
Time and space.
We don't know how. Science can't explain it, but it's one of those things that happens when you're at a Superdrone. Stephen Hawking isn't with us anymore, so we couldn't call upon him for any kind of explanation.
We warp time and space with our sound.
Yeah, sometimes people go fully back in time or forward in time during.
It has been known.
It has been known. Yeah, there's people gone missing and turned up in journals from the 1800s saying I was watching this band, and now I'm a Victorian.
You've kind of briefly touched on it, but you've got your new album coming out soon. Just if you can let us know a little bit about the album.
Yeah, we might have thought of a name for it. We were thinking of calling it Descent. It's possibly going to be about 11 tracks, and it's kind of got a, like you said before, uncle stroke chromatics stroke Sigur Rós type vibe to it. It's still got some of the typical Superdrone trappings, so it's got some elements of Starcade, it's got some elements of Shoegaze in there, it's got some elements of 2. Don't think it's got any elements of 1, I'm afraid, because that was first LP was quite rough and ready, and we didn't really know what we were doing at the time. It was thrown down ideas, and rather than a finished product, it was very much a demo album, I think, number 1.
Yeah, stage or next level with regards to sonics and binaural recordings and having the sounds flying around your head. And it's definitely an headphones album, but it's not. It's an experience album. It's not sort of like an album, like a party album. It's not an album that people will actually necessarily be able to dance to, but it's an album that you can put on and just like whisk yourself off to a different place for a bit. We haven't been like, we need to actually make these songs 3 minutes and 20 seconds long and hit the chorus within a minute. We have, it's not like one of these albums that where, the songs aren't structured in such a way like we're thinking about, this is going to be a single, this is going to be a single. The whole album bar one track is, I think all the songs are about 6 minutes long, aren't they? About 5-6 minutes long. And they like start off low and they go different places and there's build-ups and all kinds of things going on. And yeah, we've got some new equipment with regards to creating those sounds as well. So we just chucked it all in, really. There was no rules. It wasn't like, we have to be shoegaze, we have to be psych, we have to be this, that, and the other. Yeah. There was literally 0 rules. And it's just come out and it sounds pretty damn interesting.
We've always sort of danced around having a sort of Sigur Rossi vibe in our tracks. And this album's got that more up front, I think.
For definite, yeah, definitely.
It's got a very mature feel to it compared to
the
last albums, I think, as well.
I think every sound, because I've mainly produced it because of the lockdown and that, every sound that I've chosen has been a sound that's made me go, oh my God, that's beautiful. Like I've just been searching for tones and sounds that will make people sort of just like, just kind of for your ears, basically, to deal. But I think that the idea is with the next record is to sort of, we've already started work on it. Tien tells me off because I just keep writing songs. And he's like, can we just finish this album before you go ahead? So now we've got 6 songs for the next album. But the next one's going to be, because people are coming out of lockdown, and because we're going to be in a situation where people are going to want to have fun and they're not going to want to be all introspective and that, they're going to want to have a laugh and they're going to want to sort of jump around and just like have fun. I think that the next record's going to have that kind of element to it, where it's going to be more of a upbeat sort of vibe. I think that's going to be the general consensus of the next one. But this one, it's not really a lockdown album. It's not really a kind of like a depressive, oh my God, this is horrible, I want to get out kind of album. It's more of a, well, if I'm going to be in, then I may as well, experience something fun in my ears. So that's what this record is.
Cool. And I know you said it's been a while since you were back in the room together. So how was it recorded and producing it?
God, I'm remotely producing over Messenger, which is great fun. It's like, Ed, I'm sure I can hear too much cymbals or I can hear too much snare. Can you have a quick look? And he's like, no, you can't. You can't possibly hear too much snare or cymbals.
and then he sends me the message going, go on then, let's do the dance. Because unfortunately, Tien is inevitably correct in what he says. So he's like, you've got to turn the drums down because they're too loud, or you've got to turn this, that, and the other down. The Mellotron's coming out too loud. It's ridiculous. Then I'm like, no, it's fine. And he's like, all right, that's what's going on. And then I'll come back to him like 24 hours later, go, yeah, you said about the thing, I changed it and it sounds better, doesn't it? And he's like, yeah, I know. So I don't think I've not won one of those battles yet, have I, Tien? You're 100% winner of the battles of, I think we should change this.
Some of the stuff, I think there was a couple of bits where you were like, no, I'm leaving that. And
was I? Oh, I'm really proud of myself.
Yeah, and I was like, I said, no, you're right. It's, because you could go at this forever. You could pick an album apart, put it all back together again, and then keep going and keep going.
I was watching this thing the other day about this composer that does movies and that, because that's something we're looking at getting into as well. And he said that a piece of music is never actually finished or completed. You just have to stop at some point. And it's absolutely true. We could literally carry on with this album until November.
Yeah, I
mean, just keep tweaking it and making it, that bit's nice, and let's change that. But it's just at a point where you just step away and go, okay, well, that's what this is now.
Yeah, I mean, I played it to some lucky people online, the Facebook Live thing, and it's changed again. since then.
Yeah, that's changed massively.
And even if you'd have put it out then, nobody would have known it wasn't how it's going to be now. You know, because it was good.
And even now, it sounds good, but I want to re-record all my vocals, which I'm going to do this weekend, and because I don't sort of like take loads of time over my vocals because I can normally get it in one pass. But I've just sung absolute bollocks onto it. Like,
and you're not happy with track 2, are you? You want me to probably revisit my guitars and make it less bouncy and springy?
I don't know. Maybe we just need to I don't know. We'll save it.
It's good. It's fine. If we release it, it's going to be great.
I know, but I'm not singing real words on it, Tien. And I can't be like, right, it's just like a David Bowie sort of thing where you just sing absolute nonsense and people can read their own meaning into it. A lot of it is basically Cocktail Twins-esque. They're not actually words. They're not words. It's not any language. It's just, well, maybe leave a couple of songs. The trouble is when you actually put it on for the streaming platforms, it wants to know. You've got to type lyrics in. So you type in and it's like, and yeah, you're not going to get any placements in sync for that. So yeah, I'll talk about sync because we want to get our music onto. We've been talking to people about getting our music on the TV, on Netflix, and there's a movie that's being made in Hollywood, which one of our tracks is going to be on.
Quite exciting to get something on a Hollywood movie then. That'll be awesome.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Yeah, definitely. See if we can play it live. Would you have to come to a Fishbowls Events gig with a full orchestra? See, watch the sound guy be like, really? Right, you can have one mic.
What were your top moments as a band?
Abbey Road was cool. Having champagne after LP2 was done.
They're just playing shows.
Yeah, with great bands, like you said before, like, you know, New Candies in Manchester, Rev in London, Telescopes in Birmingham, just to name a few. Those, to me, playing with those bands is why we're doing it, because it's great fun.
And the journeys as well. Yeah, going to and from. We have a lot of fun when we're just like, because I'm always a designated driver because I'm not really into I don't know. I think that when it comes to drinking booze and that, I think I actually I've completed it. I got to the end of Level Guardian and defeated it, and I just like now I'm just like, well, I've drunk all of the alcohol in the entire universe. So now I'm in a position where I'm like, do you know what? I'll drive. It'll be fun. So I'm just drinking like service station Costas while these two get absolutely smashed up, and it's so funny to watch. It's hilarious, especially when you were in the back of the car, Tien, and you were going, wee. What was that? We were coming back from, was it Manchester? We were coming back from. That was funny.
Oh yeah, somebody had given me
something naughty.
We got paid with something naughty,
and I was like, yeah, I'm driving, so that's not really anything. Tien's like, I'll have it. I'll have all the naughty stuff.
I'm rock and roll. I'll take one for the team.
Back in the car, snoring his head off within a couple of minutes.
Beers, which is your normal. It was something totally different. Okay, whatever.
Absolutely can't wait for this lockdown to be over, so we can, even to get into the studio again, to get in, because your work, Tien, they let us in and they let us play in there. If we just do a live stream from there, which we should definitely do. We did live stream before. Do you remember?
Yeah.
I forgot to turn the camera on.
No, it had some weird keyboard thing over the top of it.
That's right. Yeah, we did a live stream and I accidentally put a filter on, and I think that me, Tien, and Tim had like little like dog's ears, and there was a keyboard flying around, and it was like, yeah, we can't use this. That's unusable. So would have been. It's too silly.
Chatting with people like Cabers and Ramon as well, Gary. Stuff that you wouldn't even think would happen.
I think that Nick McCabe he's in the Verve. Oh, he was in the Verve, and he's lovely. So he's really funny, really cool.
Yeah.
And we just, it's nice to sort of like, just even if you're just a Facebook friend with someone like that, and you actually regularly talk to them and stuff. Like I'm friends with Michael Hollywood as well from Brian Jonestown Massacre, and he's really funny. And it's quite funny actually, because there's certain bands you think are going to be, I don't know, not necessarily Brian Jonestown, but certain bands you think are going to be the most edgy and the most kind of like, I don't know, aloof or whatever, tend to actually have members that are just really, really silly. And I was quite sort of serious and epic, but generally me, Tim, and Tiana are pretty stupid, I would say. We're not sort of like they're sort of like smouldering away and sort of attempting to be cool. There's none of that. There's no presents.
No. Unless I've damaged my shoulder, then I will be super
dude,
cool.
you break yourself before every single gig. Every gig, there's always a Facebook picture of his hand with like blood coming out of it, or his arm's got blood coming out of it, or there's some bandages happening. It's like, oh, day of the gig then, yeah, awesome, that's happening.
They're banning me from like going anywhere near my car like several weeks before a gig. Like,
a bloody death trap. It killed James Dean, and it's slowly killing you. So yeah, have you seen? I've got folding hands. Look at this. I found this out the other day. That's really rare. You've got a line going across there and a line going across there. Yeah. And those are called simian lines. Apparently only people are I don't know, some type of like walking on earth gods have those. So I was like, obviously, now I know that's confirmed everything. So I went like that a second ago and you can see that. That's really rare, that. Anyone that knows about palmistry would be like, what the hell's happening there? What's going on?
Gonna live forever.
Well, yeah, probably. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, what's the sort of plans looking forward for the rest of this year?
Get the album out as quickly as possible. Write another album for the summer and play a shit ton of gigs. The
live EP as well.
Yeah.
Gig hopefully organised with yourself coming up at the end of the year, which we haven't been able to tell people about yet.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll be getting that up soon enough. But yeah, something for people to wait for, because it should be a good one in London, I think.
That's the trouble. Aren't really cool.
I've been trying to tap on festival promoters and things like that, but because everything's so still up in the air, you know, it's difficult to get to anyone, because like you almost hit a brick wall. Fill out this form to apply to play, and there is no form. You know, and
we were going to play a gig in Barcelona last year, and
just before the lockdown, wasn't it?
Oh man, it was so depressing. Valencia as well.
And it was Valencia and Barcelona. Can we do a festival?
When I just because it's all here, when I lay stuff down, I use the bass of the Vinola record store. It's the greatest record store in Hampshire, probably it's this side of London. So that's the bass that I use, and I also use this as well. There's a lot of plinky stuff on the album. That is this, which is called a. Can you see that's Gibson Firebird? But what I've done is I've actually put acoustic guitar strings on the highest strings, a really thick gauge acoustic guitar strings, so you can play those real plinky lines that you hear on our records. Whereas Tian mainly sounds like a massive synthesizer. I think you sound like a synthesizer. You get your guitar through, it's like it's amazing. It's really good. Yeah, if it wasn't for what did we work out? I was the Paul McCartney, you were the John Lennon, whereas I was the sort of like pop sensibility and you were the cool.
The cool
like
pop balance.
Yang. Yeah, you've got to have a cool balance.
Yeah,
the cool pop balance.
When we first went out discussing music and talking what we were going to do, it was the cool pop balance, and you've got to have an element of pop, you've got to have an element of cool. Too much pop, chorus, and too much cool, and you're John Lennon doing some random song that
with Yoko Ono going, blah,
yeah, number 9.
I think at the moment what's really cool is we actually own the publishing to all our songs. So
and we do all the recording.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everything.
I've spoken to, I said, right, here with publishing, because I want to maybe use some of your music in a TV show or whatever. Then it's like, well, we do. We own all of it. It's ours. So they don't have to jump through these hoops to try and sort stuff out. But yeah, there's going to be something that's going to happen at some point over the next 6 to 9 months where people will just start listening to us. And then instead of it being, oh, this band are good, they've got an EP out, it'll be, oh, this band are good. Oh my God, like I said earlier on, they've got like 6 albums or whatever, so they can properly get stuck into it. But yeah, we'll work on our live show and make sure that it blows people away. That's going to be really important.
I once saw an interview with Ian Brown, John Squire, the early days of the Stone Roses, and one of his comments was, people just haven't got used to us yet, or something like that. They just haven't grown up with us yet.
Yeah.
So maybe
It's,
that's all it takes.
it's also that we don't really sort of like, you know, we're not constantly like on Instagram pictures of a coffee and beer and the food that we're eating that day and all this kind of thing. I just don't get the whole Instagram thing. People have said you've just got to take pictures of everything you do and put it on Instagram, and then people will want to see that. I just don't understand why anyone would want to see anyone do that. I mean, people like, I mean, there's certain musicians I love to pieces, like Josh Homme or whatever, but I wouldn't want to see what his breakfast was. I don't care. I don't give it. It doesn't make any sense to me that these people get Instagram famous or TikTok famous by just doing such menial bloody things. So yeah, we're just basically not bowing down to it, the whole thing, but at the same time not doing that. People don't know who the hell we are. So there we go.
A secret band.
Secret band. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a robot.
Cool.
Yeah,
I was looking up an article actually today on management companies that take direct contact from bands and stuff like that. We find it through word of mouth. That's another reason for us to be playing cool shows with cool bands. It's because you never know who's going to be in the audience that might pick you up. And it just takes that one little break. If we had, say, a play on BBC Six or with Jules Holland show or something like that, it could just take off. You just don't know.
I could take or leave live. I'm more about the studio. Since the lockdown, I have absolutely missed it more than anything. And I just want to get out and play live constantly again. So I'm on the same page as TN now when it comes to live. He'd constantly be saying, when are we going to play a live show again? I'd be like, I don't know. Let's just, you know, I like not making any effort to set anything up, TN setting it all up. But now I just want to play like every week or every day or every hour. Let's do it.
I've got 2 albums to learn.
Yeah, you do. So have I. I can't remember how to play the bloody songs.
I need a bit of guitar. Bam, it's done. You're like, oh, what did I play? Oh crap! I have to try and learn something that sounds like what I just played.
I literally have to go into the file sometimes to count what I played. Actually, isolate the actual files and be like, oh yeah, that's what I did there. I've sent you files as well, Tian, haven't I?
Yeah.
This is what you played. Did I? God, I can't remember. Weird, isn't it? So funny. It's going to be even madder now with lockdown releases. But yeah, we'll get some interesting music out for people to have a listen, not to listen to actually, and then we'll play some shows, and then people can be like, oh yeah, we were there at the beginning, we were there at the Fishbowl Events, we were there at the Atama, we were there at the whatever that venue was in Bristol, Birmingham.
Or I love your band, you're amazing. That's always the classic, isn't it? I love your band, you're amazing. It's like, do you?
I've had people come up to me in the street before. I'd be like, oh, you're that guy out of Superdrone, aren't you? So, what are you talking about? You must be like one of the only people in the country that knows who I am. I'm in the country of Colombia.
Oh, was it Brazil? I thought it was Brazil.
No, it's Colombia. We've got to #1 in the Colombian indie charts like 3 times without even trying. And no royalties at all. Not one penny of royalties. So someone over there is literally pocketing pounds of money, maybe £8 or £9.
Pesetos. We're quite big in Singapore at the moment. We sold 2 CDs the other day.
We sold 2 CDs to Singapore.
Yeah.
Let's sort of tour out immediately then.
Yep. Massive in Singapore.
Great.
I got asked to sign a copy as well.
Well, thank you very much, guys.
Okay, dude. Well, thank you so much for your time today. Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you very much, guys. A big thank you to Tien and Ed from Superdrone for taking the time out to talk to me. As always, I will leave links to their music just in the description below, so do go and check them out. But before you go, please make sure you subscribe to our channel. We've got lots more interviews and much more coming soon.